afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for attending the presentation on Ariana Resources PLC, Turkey's next gold producer. The photograph that I've got up here shows the status of the construction site for our first mine in Western Turkey, a mine we refer to under the name of the Red Rabbit project. Kızıltepe is the name of the specific location. I've just come back from site. That construction progress has commenced as of September. The development work has actually continued beyond what you see there in that photograph. We've got most of those buildings up now, and the process plant site is being levelled. So we've made considerable progress in just the last couple of months. A snapshot on Ariana. It's an AIM-listed gold exploration development company focused on Turkey. We've been operating in Turkey for over 10 years now, primarily in Western Turkey, and also in northeastern Turkey through a joint venture that we have with Dorado Gold Corporation. Our Western Turkey project, Red Rabbit, is fully funded through the construction stage and into production. We're expected to be producing at a low operating cost of about $600 an ounce. In northeastern Turkey, our operations with Dorado, we've defined a 1 million ounce gold resource at that location, and we're continuing further exploration and development work there. Some key data on the company. We have a very stable shareholder base, Landsted Capital being the largest single shareholder there, but a number of other key names, notably Michael de Villiers, our chairman, who's in the audience today. Dorado Gold Corporation, by virtue of our joint venture, also has a significant shareholding. The most important thing out of that, of course, being that management has a significant stake in the success of this business. So on to the management. Snapshot there. Michael, experienced mining company director, has been involved in a number of junior and larger scale mining companies, mining operations throughout Africa and Europe and into Asia. Michael and I have been involved in the company since the beginning, and my background, I'm a geologist, expert in gold exploration and development, starting off originally in Africa, but then moving into Western Australia, and then I was involved in bringing Ariana Resources into Turkey. And William Payne, who's not with us here today, our accountant, so providing the back office function on the accounting side of things, but also a very experienced non-executive director. So why Turkey? Turkey is located within the Tethyan metallogenic belt. So it's that broad swath of land running through Eastern Europe and out into Central Asia. Our operations in Western Turkey, they're located in that circle, Wave project area. It's located in one of the most prospective parts of the country, and a number of existing mining operations are located within that circle. But that metallogenic belt continues through the whole country, and there up in the northeast is our joint venture with Dorado Gold. Gold production in Turkey has increased dramatically over the last 10 years. From one single mine, Ovacık, in Western Turkey, we've seen a ramp up of production to a high of 33.5 tons of gold in 2013. There are now 9 operating gold mines in the country, and it's an exceptional area for us to be exploring and developing gold mines in. It's a very supportive government regime, and indeed they've introduced a number of changes to the mining legislation, environmental code, and all of that has been in line with our ability to bring gold mines into construction and on into production. So just focusing a little bit more on where we are in Turkey. We've got most of our projects, as you can see, located within the Wave project area. And those two in the darker coloration, 1 and 2, are part of the Red Rabbit project. It comprises 2 sectors, Kızıltepe and Tavşan. Kızıltepe is located at Area 1, Tavşan Area 2. So Kızıltepe will be our first mine. Tavşan, our intentions are to develop our second mine. So Red Rabbit Gold Project and current construction progress. So a snapshot of the joint venture that we have in place with Prosea Construction. Prosea are a turnkey EPCM contractor and general construction company. They focus primarily on gold and silver processing plant EPCM. They've been involved in a number of plant development projects, both within Turkey and elsewhere through the Middle East and into Russia and West Africa. Procea are earning into 50% of the joint venture on expenditure of 8 million. They're about halfway through that expenditure commitment at this stage. The additional expenditure is coming in as we're in construction now. So they're fully funding project startup and then into production. The Red Rabbit Gold Project, significant milestones. We've been working on this project since 2005. We acquired the project from Newmont Mining Corporation originally. We went on, undertook all the exploration, resource development work, got that to the point of definitive feasibility study in EIA, which we completed jointly with Procea Construction a couple of years ago. And since then, we've been slowly getting our key permits in place. The mining license and permits now secured for 20 years. We've also secured a $33 million credit facility with Türkiye Finans Katılım Bankası. We have full support of the Turkish government to get this project into production, following the receival of the forestry permit, which was critical to get us to the construction stage. And prior to that, indeed, we'd had strategic investment status granted to the project, which was absolutely critical. We've had a number of key tax breaks, reducing corporation tax from 20%, headline 20%, to 2% in the early years of our operation, reduction in expected social insurance contributions from the Turkish government is going to be paying social insurance contributions for all mine employees for 7 years of mine life. And from there, we went on to Forestry Department clearing the site and into the construction. An overview of the definitive feasibility study. We've defined a mine life of 8 years currently, but we can see from the exploration potential in the vicinity that we'll probably increase on that. Our current management target is to take that to about 10 years. C1 cash costs, in fact this is more or less an all-inclusive cash cost, is about $600 an ounce. So it's very competitive. And in fact Turkish gold operations are generally close to or within the lower quartile of gold operating costs around the world. Our production rate is going to be about 20,000 ounces per annum, producing at 150,000 tonnes of ore per annum through that mill. But in fact, the mill has capacity to increase that throughput. And we'll look at the optionality on increasing throughput and changing mine schedule under current environment. Just a snapshot there of the base case financial model. Now this model was run in 2013 using a then base case gold price of just over $1,300 an ounce. But in that time we've seen the oil price drop quite dramatically, and that's having a marked positive effect on the operation, particularly from a contractor mining perspective. We've seen contractor mining costs halved essentially as a result of that. So that's a significant positive change for the operation, but obviously we're now in a lower gold price environment. So we've given the minus 10 and minus 30% cases there to give you an indication of where we sit at those levels. But the key thing is that payback is quick, and the payback is quick because the gold grade is good, both gold and silver. And the other important point is that the Turkish lira gold price remains at historical high levels. So when you're taking most of your input costs in Turkish lira, that's a significant point to make. This is a satellite image of the mine site as it will appear towards the end of operations, in fact. Our primary pit there at Arzu South, located centrally in that image, and the processing plant, that symbol, located just to the north of that. Arzu South will be mining for about 5 years, and then we'll sequentially mine the additional pits at Banu, Derya and Arzu North. There's also exploration potential between the Arzu South and Arzu North pits. There's a hill between those two, as you can see, covered in forest. And that area, we've identified significant further exploration upside. The Waste rock dump is shown in light green there, and the tailings dam is shown in blue. So it's a very small footprint CIL mine. The resource development schedule, we're looking to expand our operations, as I've indicated, ramping up from 10,000 ounces production in the second half of next year, increasing to our steady state production of about 20,000 ounces a year in following years, all the way through to 2024. There's clearly potential for further resource upgrades in that area around Kızıltepe. So in terms of management target, we're hoping to double resources in the coming years, but that's going to take time. At Kepez, we've got a small existing resource of about 9,000 ounces, and that's part of the current mining schedule. However, we are drilling part of the Kepez system now, and we're due to complete that drilling today. We're expecting results of that work in the early part of next year. There is hope to increase resources based off the Kepez area and Kepez West in particular. Then we have exploration properties at Karakavak and Yukarıçamlı. All of those contain extensions to the epithermal gold-silver vein system that we see throughout this area. And we're confident that we'll be able to identify additional resources from those in time. But at this stage, we're giving no guidance on what might be there. At Kızılçukur, we've got a small 17,000 ounce inferred resource at this stage, but we have been drilling that. We've completed drilling there, and we're expecting results. We're expecting to increase confidence in that resource and define a resource that's ultimately truckable down to the Kızıltepe processing plant. And then comes the big one, it's Tavşan, 215,000 ounces. This is our second location within the Red Rabbit project. At Tavşan, there's an opportunity to be mining at the rate of 30,000 ounces a year, but it's going to take us some time to get through scoping study, pre-feasibility, feasibility, and then indeed permitting. So we're only targeting a 2020 startup for Tavşan at this stage. But ultimately, we want to get to the point where we are a 50,000 ounce per year producer from those two locations. Now, exploration is a key part of what we are as a company. We recognize that exploration is the key to long-term growth in this industry. It's no use just mining. You have to be able to provide long-term resources and indeed convert those to reserves. So we've got a large ground holding across what we refer to as the Sındırgı Gold Corridor, an area about the size of the island of Jersey, so a significant area, and this is chock full of low sulfidation gold silver bearing veins. We've only drilled about 6% of this vein system so far. There are many other targets that we've defined in the last couple of years in particular through Kepez West, North and South, Karakavak and Karakavak North, Yukarıçamlı, and indeed Kızılçukur. There's also more potential in the immediate vicinity that's currently outside of existing licenses, but we fully expect that once we're in production at Kızıltepe, that we'll be able to do deals on the surrounding ground as well. So ultimately, we want to prove up a total million-ounce resource across the Red Rabbit project area, so inclusive of Tavşan. So that's how it looks in cross-section. This is a simplified geological schematic through that part of western Turkey, showing the topography, but also showing the geology at the bottom of that image, showing the location of the various prospects, Kızıltepe, Kepez, Karakavak, and so on, all the way through to Tavşan in the far northeast. It's a highly prospective corridor of ground, fed by a number of intrusive centres, such as the Alaçam volcanic complex. Across all of these areas, we've defined existing resources and indeed converted some of those resources to reserves, which is what we'll be mining at Kızıltepe. But there's certainly scope, as you can see, to improve and increase that overall resource base. And this will come through systematic work over the course of the next couple of years. So looking back at Kızıltepe now, so focusing back in the immediate vicinity of the mine site at Kızıltepe, all the veins currently identified at surface have been mapped in blue, those dark blue lines there on that image. All the existing drilling shown as those white dots. As you can see, a lot of the existing drilling has been focused in just that corridor through Arzu South, Arzu North and Derya. There's been relatively little drilling outside of that, but yet the potential is there to identify further resources, even on the doorstep of the existing mine, particularly in the gap zone. So that's the area undercover between Arzu South and Arzu North. And that's what the gap zone looks like in cross-section. We have an upper ignimbrite sequence, a type of volcanic rock, that caps the vein system that we know is developed at depth. We know that through geophysical work undertaken. We can see the structure going right through. We also know that from geochemical work that shows that the trace elements are enriched through that upper ignimbrite sequence just in that corridor. Also from some exploration drilling that we've undertaken so far beyond current pit limits, particularly at the southern end of Arzu North, we've actually snagged the continuation of the vein system in that location, and that's that big purple blob located there. Those X's mark the location of future drill holes that we have planned. We need access to the Arzu Central area to fully test the strike potential. And once we've done that, we fully expect to find further resources in the immediate vicinity of the existing pits. So we have defined a JORC exploration target through that area of about 100,000 ounces of gold. A quick overview on Tavşan. Tavşan is similar in some ways. The geology, again, is a low sulfidation epithermal system, but rather than steeply dipping veins, it's a tabular ore body, right at surface, very low strip ratio. Metallurgical test work has shown that the gold and silver recovery is very good from this location, and in time we want to develop this as our second mine. As you can see, we do need to do further work. We need to undertake a lot more drilling in this location to be able to convert that to measured and indicated resources, and ultimately take those on to reserves once we complete a feasibility study. The El Dorado Gold joint venture. We've been running our joint venture there since 2008, El Dorado Gold having purchased European Goldfields in 2012. Collectively, they've spent $8 million on the project over that course of time. We've identified over 1 million ounces of gold located between the Sullenbusch and Ardela gold systems. In particular, Sullenbusch, this is the one that we're really excited by. It's a relatively high-grade gold-silver system that sits dipping away from the topography, shown here in yellow. That's the ore body at Sullenbusch, dipping away towards the porphyry shown in red. We can see continuity of that mineralization right up to the porphyry, and we are quite confident that there's further resource upside at that location. It's just going to take more drilling to define that. But in the meantime, we've completed a scoping study that shows that there's already the basis of a viable gold mining operation there, should we want to continue and develop that into mining. But we have been looking with El Dorado to potentially sell that project, and we've undertaken a valuation analysis of project sales within Turkey based on comparable transactions over the last 10 years. One of the interesting things that comes out of this analysis is that Turkish gold ounces are valued quite highly by particularly the Turkish market. So these are Turkish conglomerates, primarily construction companies, that are buying these assets, and Turkish ounces are valued at about $54 an ounce, irrespective of particular resource category. So it gives you an idea, some guidance on potential valuation there for our Sullenbusch asset. So in summary, Ariana represents exposure to a near-term, low-cost, fully funded and fully permitted gold production opportunity in Turkey, with plenty of resource upside. We've got exploration drilling underway at the moment. We are going to define more resources, and it's just a simple matter of then, in time, converting those to reserves, feeding them into the mine schedule there at Kızıltepe. We've got a fantastic partner in the form of Prosia. They're putting the best team on site to build this mine. They've been working phenomenally well in the last couple of months. They've done an incredible amount of positive work in the local community as well. We've got the community fully on side. They all want to see this mine go ahead. Everyone's got an interest in seeing this happen. And you'll have to commend it to our partners, Prosia, and indeed our exploration team for all the hard work that they put in over the years. But beyond that, after getting Kızıltepe into production, we want to advance Tavşan and, of course, continue our other exploration work throughout Western Turkey. One of the most important points I'd like to part with is that we're a very low-cost gold discoverer. And this is a very important point. It's all about cost of discovery as an explorer. If you can discover ounces cost effectively and add them to the book and get those resources mined cost effectively, that's the game changer. That's what's significant. So thank you very much for your time.